but how do I know which one is that winning idea? Like, how do I know which one is the winning idea and I can formulate and build a business around that?
We wanted to talk about techniques for idea generation. So as Devon mentioned at the beginning, if you think about our From Purpose to Profits, the first module, the first steps that we take are all about creation. There is a process that we take our folks through because we know how important that is and again, ensuring that you have a very solid idea, because the last thing that we all want, right, is just feeling like you have this great idea, but you're not really putting it and making it into actionable steps. It's just this great idea, but like, that's not enough. We want to be like, get off of that hamster wheel where you're running and you're busy, but you're not really making those solid efforts to move your idea and your business forward. So we really feel like this is a critical step, especially if you're at the beginning stages of your entrepreneurship journey, that really can't be skipped and it can't be missed. So really fleshing out those ideas. And there's a lot of, I guess, things to think about, right? That by skipping this step, making your ideas concrete before you move forward, there's going to be some undesirable results. I talked about really feeling like you're spinning your wheels, creating a business with limited results, and then finding that you end up really almost being just kind of trapped by this business and feeling like you have limited time because you didn't flesh out not just the idea, but making sure that you have the right processes in place so that you're running the business and essentially the business is not running you, and really just creating a business that has no balance for you. So there's value in this process. But again, the crux of it is what we call the wheel of creation. So thinking about this idea that you have, and making sure that you take that idea through a brainstorming process. So we did this with the gentlemen that are in our alpha test. We went through a brainstorming session with each and every one of them, on a short basis, because we were all together on this call for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, but really walked them through the process of what does brainstorming look like, and then modeled that for them so that they can then, even though we all gave ideas, and helped each other out through that process, then go, who's your inner circle? Maybe who's your business partners? Who are the folks that you speak to on a consistent basis that you trust, that you can do this brainstorming activity with, and the people that you know are going to give you some valuable feedback as you're, again, looking to really make sure that this idea that you have is a solid concrete
Exactly.
one.
So you touched on kind of that first step about the importance of brainstorming, and just at a very high level, without getting into kind of the nitty gritty, the biggest component that we stress when it comes to brainstorming is allowing the ideas to flow freely. Being able to bring in folks that are part of your circle of trust and really asking them to kind of lay out, opine, and throw out any idea as it pertains to your business, even if you may have already been thinking of going in that direction or you don't agree with that direction. You have to be open to all of the possibilities, right? You have to be open. That's where it starts first, because the brainstorming portion is not the time or place to be able to make a decision, to start to determine what is worth pursuing or what's not. You have to lay all the cards out on the table. There's going to be a process that we'll touch on in the later steps of the wheel of creation that helps you to refine that and then niche down and kind of really focus on what you're going to go after and then pursue. But it's important to start with all possibilities are possibilities, and let's hear it out. So being able to facilitate that, and brainstorming doesn't just mean literally, shooting folks a couple of DMs or whatever the case may be to try and get perspective. There is a method to facilitating an effective brainstorming session, right? I mean, we've all been there before. Sometimes if you're multitasking or you don't have undivided attention when it comes to an idea and somebody asks you your perspective, you may give something that's half-cocked and like not fully thought out. Maybe you don't really go as deep or dedicate a lot of your mental capacity to really exploring the question that's proposed to you and what would you want as a consumer or a receiver of this. So as a person that's facilitating, as an entrepreneur that's facilitating that discussion, it's important that you have the undivided attention of your circle of influence, it's probably a great idea to get them all into the same room, if not the same room, at least the same space. Really, forcing people to write down their perspective, giving them ample time to think and then explain or articulate. And so we just got a tremendous amount of positive feedback from the folks in our Uncompromising Entrepreneur group and our participating in our Purpose to Profits program around this specific activity, because what it allowed them to do is to get perspective from folks that are not in their industry but are passionate about entrepreneurship. And so there was a lot of outside perspective. And when we talk about ways to innovate, sometimes it's the folks that are not embedded in the niche that you're in that can provide the most outside of the box dynamic perspective on ways to innovate or to improve, right? Sometimes the best ideas around tech comes from people who are not living and breathing tech day in and day out. Sometimes the more valuable perspectives around podcasts for us, like podcasts or content creation, comes from folks that don't consume podcasts on a regular basis. And so they're not conditioned to a certain formula of how things should go. They're just giving you their perspective, right? Like, man, I would really love to hear this if I was listening to a podcast. And that may be the seed to unlocking something that is innovative, unique, that allows you to really carve out a special niche. So the brainstorming portion is so critically important to creation. I know sometimes it seems counterintuitive as a creator to want to bring people into your process and get their perspective. Trust me, I understand that. Jimmy and I understand that as creators, but you do unlock another level of creativity and collaboration, because you have to trust your superpower. And one of our superpowers as creators is that even if somebody else comes with the seed of the idea, we got the different perspective and sauce to take that seed and make it a tree, right? Even if we didn't find the seed first, it's like, oh man, that's dope. We took the seed and now we made it this, because of our ability to create and to innovate and to iterate and to build off of that. So you have to also trust your superpower from that perspective. And so, letting people into that creative process early on, getting exposed to as many ideas as possible, and then going through the next couple of steps that we'll lay out for you to niche down is really going to help you really unlock the potential for your business.